Hello, I'm Otto Tausk, Music Director of the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, and joined here now today by Teiya Kasahara. Welcome, it's great to have you with us in Vancouver. We have an amazing program this week. We play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Ode to Joy, and I'm really looking forward to bring that gigantic piece to the podium again after these strange times that we will quickly forget. And we also play a piece that I personally think is perhaps the best piece written in the previous century. It's Ravel's Piano Concerto. And to open the program, we have a wonderful new work by Sami Musa, Elysium. That's a co-commission also with other orchestras around the world, the Vienna Philharmonic and orchestras in Scotland. They've already played the piece, so I've heard it, and it's very dramatic, it's very gorgeous, a beautiful work. So do come and join us this Friday, Saturday and Sunday in the afternoon. But now on to Teiya. Welcome, it's so wonderful to meet you because I think we have a lot in common. As a musical person traveling around the world, we've just been talking about opera in Germany, for instance, but we've actually never worked together.
Not yet.
Yeah, so today, later on, we'll actually have our first rehearsal. That's going to be the rehearsal for the Beethoven 9. But I'd love to get to know you a little bit better and to learn all about the other things you actually also do, because I think you're a fascinating not only musician but person. The way you interact and what you bring about in the world of music. So perhaps you can share a bit of that with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's great to meet you too. So I'm an opera singer, but also a theater creator and a co-founder of Amplified Opera. And currently we are the Disruptors in Residence at the Canadian Opera Company.
So this is a fascinating thing, Disruptor in Residence. And what does that mean?
I think it's a kind of an it word right now, you know, in our times, but it's a title that I think we are very excited to utilize and to be able to explore new ways of working within the classical music field, and rethinking, evolving our practices, not only in the rehearsal room, but on stage, in administrative rooms as well. And so we can create more equitable spaces for more artists, artists who maybe have been continued to be overlooked and pushed to the margins.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. That's really important work. And is this something that you... So how long are you then with one specific company? How does that? Does the organization work for a couple of months and then move on to somewhere else, or?
We've done residencies at institutions like McGill University and have delivered workshops at, for example, Pacific Opera Victoria, the Manitoba School of Music, Wilfrid Laurier. So we have different scales of how we work with students, with artists, with administrations. But right now, this residency at the Canadian Opera Company will be for about 2 years or so.
2 years, wow. So you can really make a change and make a difference.
We hope so.
That's fantastic. That's really exciting. And so besides that, you're a singer, but I've been told you also play the drums, for instance.
Yes, I've dabbled.
Tell us about the drums.
I've dabbled with the Taiko, Taiko drum. So Taiko is the overarching word for drum in Japanese, but it also can refer to drumming as a group. So the word is kumidaiko, and that became quite popular after World War II and really took off in North America, kind of its own style, and especially on the West Coast here. After the Japanese internment, both in the US and here in Canada, as a sense of celebrating Japanese culture and bringing together that Japanese community. So we see it at outdoor festivals, matsuri, like the Powell Street Festival, or other celebrations. And because they are so loud, and there are a variety of drums that can be played, the art form, I think, has really elevated from something that you would just see at a festival or maybe at a Buddhist or Shinto temple to something that is now in theaters and on stages and has, you know, lights and this production value. So it's quite a liberating experience to be able to witness it, but also to play those drums.
Wow, fantastic. So you have all this diversity of things you do. It's very varied.
Yes.
But you also sing, and so you sing experimental repertoire, but also the classical repertoire, opera, anything?
I definitely love the operatic canon. I think that's what first stole my heart, was Mozart, the Magic Flute, Die Zauberflöte, when I saw it as a teenager. And so that classical repertoire will always have a special place in my heart. But I love Verismo opera as well. I love bel canto. So, and the Beethoven. This is very exciting to be performing this for the first time, because I also love his one opera, Fidelio.
Yeah.
And so, to be able to sing operatically or with this classical technique, this is very exciting. To do that within canonical works.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes contemporary or experimental music, they ask you to do so many different things and not necessarily to do the thing that viscerally makes me so excited.
Yes.
That kind of singing.
Yes, yes. So how can I imagine bringing, I'm not saying it's two different worlds, but it's very exciting to see how you operate in the different fields. And is there a way that it actually comes together when you're on the podium, when you're making music?
I think so. I think the more that I try to embody what feels right and what feels good, that sense of, yes, good technique, but also what is pleasurable, like creating spaces with my colleagues that are respectful and affirming and celebratory. I think it's combining all of those elements that really allows me to be able to just express art and express music. And it doesn't necessarily matter what I'm singing. But if I can have all those components working together, that I think is what excites me and makes me want to come back and participate in this industry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, it's wonderful to have you in Vancouver. And I understand Vancouver is actually a place you know really well, because right now you live in Toronto.
Yes.
But this is where you come from. This is where your background is. Is it special for you to come to this area and do what we're doing this week?
Always, especially like right now, there are so many cherry blossoms out in bloom, and I can hear the birds, and this nature is very special. These mountains and this ocean that come together in this part of the world. I grew up here, so I have many memories here. My family is here. My heart is here, so to speak. So I always feel very lucky to be able to come back and make music.
That's great.
Yes.
It's fascinating you mentioned the nature is so important in this area. And so next season, in our programming, nature is featured in a very special way. So we have many programs that actually look at the relationship between music and nature. How can we make sure that the way we treat the world around us is a good way? And how can we use music to make us all aware of what's going on in the world around us? And I always find that going to a place where nature is so special, as it is around here, it kind of influences the way I work and the way I think about music and the way music kind of connects with me in combination with the nature. So maybe that sounds really weird, but when I work with different orchestras, somehow I always find that orchestras that are near the ocean, I have a really good connection with. And it sounds silly, but there is something in the air being so close to water. I love swimming, for instance, which is it has nothing to do with conducting an orchestra, but in a way it does have a lot to do with music. The way nature is is so organic and so so natural. And if music has that same quality, it feels like we're doing what we should be doing. Do you feel like the nature around here has inspired you growing up, also in relationship with music?
Absolutely. I think I can't separate the two. Our bodies are made up of, I don't know, 70% water, right? All of the water that we drink, all of the water that we use has been here for millennia, you know? So we are all part of that water, and to be able to see the power of it so closely, like with oceans, with the tides, and to hear that, and just to have that in the background, you know, and to know that that is always moving, that is always evolving, that is always nurturing us, I think it inherently will influence the music that we make, or the music that we're composing or performing for the stages, because it is life, and music is life. It is something that we create, and then it is gone. It evaporates, right? Yeah. And I think that is what is so powerful about music too, is that we continue to come back to it, to have that feeling of connectivity, of community, of beauty, you know, and to be experiencing something that is larger than ourselves or our everyday lives. Yeah. So, of course, like even in some of my hybrid theater opera shows, I'm writing about nature, I'm writing about water. Like it's you can't escape it. No. Yeah, and I don't want to. And especially now in a time where, you know, we even have forest fires going on in BC and all over the world, and with the flooding that we've had here in this part of the country, it's really scary to think about the next 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50 years, you know, for the children that are out there and the children yet to be born. Like, what are we leaving them? You know? Yeah. So true. So if we can use music as a vehicle to bring awareness to that, and to maybe change our habits, or to bring, more awareness to what we're doing every day, just ever so slightly, that can make such a difference. Yeah. Music won't change, but it will change the way we think. Yes. And that's so important. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Teiya, for being here today for this discussion. I'm really looking forward to working with you on the Beethoven, and I'm sure this is going to be really inspiring for all of us this week, having you here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you.